Patterns for multiplying positives and negatives. We're going to look at integers, but this works with any type of number, decimal, fraction. When you have a positive times a negative, this makes a negative number. When you have a positive times a positive, you get a positive number. When you get negative times a negative, you also get a positive number. Well, we've actually seen this before. When we were doing 3 minus negative 1. We divided up our terms and we had negative, negative. It turns out this is a hidden multiplication. Negative, negative 1 is actually negative times negative 1. We have here the identity number. He's a ninja for multiplication. The identity of multiplication is a 1. Negative 1 times negative 1. Negative times negative is positive. 1 times 1 is 1. So what we get is the ability to change our equation to 3 and positive 1. We have this hidden addition sign here. 3 plus positive 1. Well, we don't usually write a plus or positive, so it's 3 plus 1. 3 minus negative 1 is the same as 3 plus 1 because we have hidden multiplication. Let's look at what happens when we multiply positives and negatives repetitively. We're going to take a look at this first problem right here. In this problem, we have the ability to start seeing a pattern. I have a negative times a positive. Following our rule, a negative times a positive is negative. So this first term here is negative. It doesn't matter what it is, but we know it is a negative number. So I have negative something, we'll call it x. The next number I'm multiplying is negative 3, and then negative 1. When you have two parentheses squished together, it's multiplication. So let's look. We have a negative number times negative 3. We go from left to right. Negative times negative is our last set. Negative times negative is positive. So now I have a positive number. Again, we don't know what it is. Times negative 1. So our last step, we have a positive times a negative, which is negative. Now it doesn't matter what the number is. Our answer is negative. It is negative something. If we did the math, 2 times 5 is 10, times 3 is 30, times 1 is still 30. It'd be negative 30. Again, right now I don't care about what the answer is. Just can you tell me if it's positive or negative? Let's look at the second set. I have positive 3 times negative 2. This piece right here is going to be negative. So now I have a negative number times a negative 1. This piece here, negative times negative is positive. I have positive times positive 4. This whole thing then is positive. Let's have you look at a couple. What's the sign of the answer to this problem? Well, let's remember our pattern. Positive times positive is positive. Positive times negative is negative. We could switch it. Negative times positive is negative. It's commutative property. And finally, negative times negative is positive when we're multiplying. Remember, addition is different. So let's look at our pattern. Negative times positive is negative. Now, we're going to multiply in our negative 5. Negative times negative is positive. Now we're going to multiply in our negative 2. Positive times negative is negative. Now we're going to multiply in our negative 4. Negative times negative is positive. Finally, we're going to multiply in our positive 5. A positive times a positive is positive. Our answer would be positive. I don't care what the answer is, just that it would be positive.